You've waited, you've wanted to hear about it. We have the info on the new Google Twitter search engine and sphere of influence. Let's get everybody caught up. If you've watched video 1, we went over what a new Google Twitter search engine could look like. Well, we've come a few months later. The rumors are out there. They've been out there about Google and Twitter. But let's just take a quick look at what happened today and see if there's anything that could be influencing. Hey, what do you know? Microsoft and Yahoo are closer than ever on a search agreement, and this is May 5th, 2009. Why is this important? Well, it is going to force Google and Twitter to work together a lot quicker. So one thing we want to stress right now, the time element. This is the most underreported story in search today. We see it in our cloud computing system at the Internet Time Machine. We run in the same circles. We do similar things. We obviously mine Google and other places for our information. This is not a matter of if it's going to happen. This is when. There is no way Sergey's going to let the Microsoft Yahoo deal go through and then announce something with Twitter. It's going to force it. This Microsoft Yahoo thing is going to force Twitter to make their move with Google. So one thing you got to be aware of, act now, act soon to get ready for this new engine. Because once they lay down the groundwork, they're going to be looking for people trying to do black hat techniques and ways around the rules. Second thing we want to talk about, we just did, Microsoft Yahoo will make this Google Twitter merger / buying working together come together quickly. Now you're probably sitting there saying, what do you guys know at the InternetTimeMachine.com? How do you know what's going on with Google and Twitter? Well, that's a very good question, and I must say that we don't know for sure. We're not in on the meetings, but we do run in the same circles because we use cloud computing systems to find hot niches before they develop. And we're getting ready for launch. As you can imagine, we're talking to a lot of people, making sure things work. We actually deal in some of the same circles because we are search, Google search, and of course social media is about to influence search in a big way with this deal. So the best way to describe it is it's double blind. If you're familiar with Kentucky Fried Chicken, their recipe for chicken, one place puts in three of the herbs. They ship it off. The next place puts in 2 herbs. The third place puts in some molasses and another herb. And then at the end you have the secret recipe, and no one knows it along the way. Well, the Internet Time Machine works in the same way. And for what we think right now, and from what we're hearing, the Google Twitter talks are going the same way. There are certain groups of Google talking to Twitter at different levels, but there isn't a company memo about it. Only the people at the top know exactly what's going on, which makes us more excited that something will get done because they're kind of hammering out the details. Okay, so enough. How do I set myself up? What do I do? Followers will be a big factor in the new social media search engine. Think of inbound links, PR rank. The number of followers your followers have are like a PR rank. So you want to immediately start getting followers in your certain niches, in the areas that you have interest, because that will, when you build it up over time, have great relevance with Google. Just like the Google Sandbox, no rankings for 6 months. You want to get started now on your followers. If you show a following massive increase too early, you're going to get flagged. Second thing, followed won't be as important since Twitter and Google are both aware of the 10% rule. Once you hit 2,000, you can only grow up incrementally. You have to follow to be followed. So that's well known. Don't worry about that as much. And tweets. Tweets will be important. You need to be active, but you can't be a spammer. There will be an algorithm that Google, the experts in algorithms, will look back and see what your ratio of, or how many tweets since you started, or how active you were. You say, well, Kurt, how can they do that? How do they know, if I was a spammer or if I cut back? Good question. Second thing we're going to look at is Tweetaholic. They do know when you started. Here's a list of the most followed people on Twitter. And if we go over here, you'll look at joined. Don't think for a second, Sandbox, think Google Sandbox, that this isn't going to be important to the Google Twitter. That's why you need to start now. Get grandfathered in, start your followers, and then when the new rules come out and how it's going to work, hey, I didn't know anything about that. I'm grandfathered in, I did it legit. That's going to be big. That's one thing that you can't underestimate and no one's talking about in this whole thing. Secondarily, the Google Twitter algorithm will give you a score using when you started, how many tweets, how many followers. The followed won't be as important, but you think of a QS score for a landing page. You're going to get all this variables put in, but they need to come up with a starting date. The higher your quality score, as well as your inbound links, you can kind of see the parallel. It's going to give you influence in the search engine on what gets raised up, and when you comment on something, is it moved up or down? Again, set yourself up right now, immediately after watching this video. Date started will be important. Followers and tweets, they're going to equal some sort of, we're calling it a Goog tweet score. We kind of have an office pool on seeing what the right name is going to be, and that's going to be, very, very important, at least on influence and where you rank when you comment on a subject. Some people have asked, what do you think about @replies? That's when you do a reply to a direct message or conversation started. We don't think these two will be as important once everything gets started, because they're going to be easier to fake. When you set up an account with 100,000 followers or have it, you can direct reply, a lot of people, and direct reply back. So that seems like the easiest thing that you're able to jerry-rig. Don't worry about those two. Moving right along, what do we recommend right now? Get on Twitter. Create 100 identities on Twitter. Break yourself up into your niches, or if you're a marketer, into the markets you're in. So if you're a sports fan, that's part of your profile. Break your sports down. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm a Dodgers fan. I'm a New England Patriots fan. I'm a Boston Celtics fan. Whatever. Get those niches very defined. Just like Google rewards very specific pages, your niches and your identity should be very specific. Aim for 100,000 followers in 12 months. That's the number you're going to need to hit to have some influence in this new engine. How do I do that? That's a good question. We're going to recommend a program that's out there now, Bill Crosby's program. I'm sure you may have heard of it. It's at twittertrafficnow.com. Explains how to get followers, how to auto-follow. Second thing we want to look at is that if you do have 100 identities, in little niches with 100,000 followers, that gives you a 10 million person pool that you send a message out to, and that's pretty solid. So even if Twitter doesn't go by what we're guessing here, if you're a marketer, you're going to have be able to send a tweet out to 10 million people in different niches if it's for a product or it's for an announcement. Again, talking about how do I get started tonight? We recommend Bill Crosby's program. It's out there. It's $27. It's a great video series, an ebook or PDF. It's at twittertrafficnow.com. Again, we use it. We're actually using it now as we build up our niches, and we talk to people. And it's for a beginner too. It shows you how to use Twallow, which is how to find auto-follow people, and also as far as setting up your feed. So all these niches are automated. And for people that say, "Oh, that's not really right. We don't. You should." Keep it as is, singular. We say, hey, hate the game, not the player. Google sets the rules, Twitter sets the rules. You can't blame people for trying to enhance their rankings and their ability within those rules. We don't feel auto-follow is a black hat technique. We think it's actually a time saver, and that if you complain about the idea that people are just getting massive followers, well, again, they're playing within the rules. Auto-follow does not, secret technique, and RSS feeds are not a bad technique either. So moving right along, for professional traffic manipulators, and they're out there, people that have 10,000 dig accounts, 5,000 Squidoo lenses spread out across cloud computing, they're going to end up with 1,000 identities and probably close to 100,000 followers, and you're looking at over 100,000 communication lines or pool size to be able to send a message out to. One of the last things we want to cover, if you haven't watched video 1 that we put out on what the engine will look like, I'm just going to shoot you over there real quick, and we're going to take a look. Remember, we looked at G20 Summit. We said here would be the Twitter marks, here would be the followers, see what the most followed had to say about, in this case, the G20 Summit. Again, what's going to be important is your anchor text, your meta tags in your tweets, and your subject tweet relevancy. So watch video 1. Head over also to the internettimemachine.com. We find hot new niches before they even make it into the radar of everyone else by studying search results and search trends. We're going to be launching soon. We're getting the JVs, the affiliates. It's all coming together. We're kind of creating it the best way so that a lot of people can get in. But you want to get in the queue now. It's starting to fill up, and people are getting pretty excited. So head to theinternettimemachine.com, put in your email, and hopefully we'll see you in another video and start following, getting on Twitter. So head to also Twitter Traffic Now. Check out Bill's program and get yourself set up for the next, the biggest news story that isn't being reported. Thank you.